We got all of our lines for our power steering all completed. Stuck this in the dipstick hole, which is connected to the sump. After pressurizing it, let it do its thing. There was no leaks on the outside, but it has its own microprocessor.
We've got everything pretty much all together now. We've already started it, run it a few times, got it up to temp.
Wait a minute!
Once we got the last couple minor things done, like the catch can hoses and the gauge mount, the car will be going off the dyno, and that will be for the next episode.
So far, Eric designed and I got to weld some turbo manifolds. I then continued to build the Y-pipe crossover. All right, we're continuing on with our TL turbo build. Since our last video, we have the turbo in place now with the wastegate mounted, the blow-off valves in, the upper intercooler pipe done. The actual downpipe has some color now. We went and did a little bit of testing to see how we're going to be anodizing the downpipe and the upper cold intercooler pipe. I've also built the lower section of the downpipe, and right now I'm working on building the exhaust. I actually just brought the car down so we could take a look at the bay and Jake could get some footage of everything.
I appreciate that.
Up here, we also finished off the lower intercooler pipe of the two, which is the one that comes from the turbo into the intercooler. So we got that all wrapped up as well, which is nice. So we actually have, I would say, about 95% of the fabrication in the engine bay wrapped up. I still want to make a bracket for the turbo, just because it sits so far away from both the manifolds. I'm going to do a little Heims joint bracket, just so it can support the weight of this guy over here. The Heims joint will allow it to have a little bit of movement, because I don't want it to be 100% solid. So that way, with everything heating up, it'll allow it to expand and move away a little bit. So that'll prevent everything from cracking in the future. Other than that, we also got the Turbo Smart blow-off valves in. We went with a dual blow-off valve design so we could kind of have something cool inside this pocket or this space here. All the hot parts we decided to last week, we're going to send all of the parts out for ceramic coating. So we're going to send those over to Red Tower and Ajax and get those all coated in a ceramic or a Cerakote ceramic black, which will look good. So we'll have the black hot parts and then the blue downpipe, and I think we're going to do something blue-purple for the upper intercooler pipe. Other than that, we're going to make a couple little brackets for the fuse box, maybe something to hold some coil packs, and that's pretty much for in the bay. For the roll cage on the inside, we're building the titanium 6-point cage with removable door bars. It is a full bolt-in cage. Right now we're waiting on the machine shop to make us a couple more adapters for bolting it to the floor. So kind of paused on the cage for now, which has kind of allowed me to get underneath and start building the exhaust, which is fun. It is a full 4-inch system all the way to the back, and it's going to split to a dual 3-inch dual. We're still figuring out what we want to do with mufflers and tips, but This week I'm going to do a couple little mock-up ideas for the tips to see what we think looks the best, because we don't want anything too crazy because it's pretty sleeper on the outside, but we definitely want something that looks good and fills out that kind of weird shape in the bumper that these have. Alright, so we are under the TL now, and you can see the 4-inch downpipe. It literally just had enough clearance to make it between the transmission and the subframe. We did notch the subframe slightly, remove some of the lip there. We are going to weld the plate on to reinforce it so we don't lose any of the strength or compromise any of the strength. And then obviously it's tucked and it's hugging the subframe as tight as possible because I didn't want it to be low. We're trying to keep it as close to flush with the subframe as possible. The good thing is it is still higher than the front subframe, so we just want to try and avoid it making contact with the road. You can also see probably from that angle too, the wastegate dump tube's been cut flush with the subframe, same type of idea, cut slightly above the subframe. That way we don't have to worry about it getting bonked by the road. And then here I actually ended up adding a bracket to the subframe to help hold the exhaust, just to support the weight, since the downpipe and the turbo is so far forward. It's almost like 3 feet worth of tubing ahead of this bracket. That'll also help support the load so that the flex bellow, so it's going to be a flex bellow or a flex pipe right after this V-band connection. That way the weight of the downpipe and the exhaust and the movement of the engine, even though it's on a very solid mount, it isn't transferred into the flex. We want the flex there just to kind of absorb any of the vibration or the small amounts of movement. Probably going to end up actually adding another bracket somewhere in the midsection, just because it's such a long run before the next exhaust bracket before the fuel tank. So with the 4-inch titanium tube, it's pretty light. It's not for weight, but mainly just to kind of keep everything in place. I actually have the exhaust laid out on the floor here. I had it test fit up on the car maybe about an hour ago. I'm just bringing it down to tack it into a few different sections to retest fit before I do some welding and some polishing. I am going to do a full polished system underneath, which I think will look really cool. I haven't decided if we're going to put any color to it yet or let it naturally try and color it, but it is a full 4-inch. You can see all the way to the back. The Y pipe I've already fully completed, so it's a 4-inch in with a dual 3-inch out, kind of pre-measured and spec'd out to fit in the back section just after the rear subframe before the spare tire dip, just so it tucks up nicely. And again, I'm trying to get everything tucked up as high as possible. That way the car can be low and not have to worry about scraping the exhaust, especially when you tuck a 4-inch tube underneath the fuel tank. We got to have everything nice and close but solid so we don't have any vibrations or any rattles. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. Today this afternoon I'm gonna tack all this stuff together, start welding, and then we'll put it all up again, retest fit it, start planning out some more brackets, and start figuring out what we're gonna do with the exhaust tips.
What's going on, guys? It's Jay, the FMF editor, here to just give you a quick update on what's going on. Shanu is busy dialing in the last few components of this build. One thing that we realized is we needed to get the injectors clean, so we sent those out to Toronto Injectors. That way it's going to be spraying the way it should be. Other things too, Shanu has found that he is just buttoning up on the electronic side of things, so the startup video is not here quite yet, but it will be here very soon. Shanu is making very good progress on the build, and we are super excited to hear this V10 start screaming soon. So I'm going to need you guys to hold on a little bit longer for that E46 M3 V10 solid update. It is coming soon. On the other hand, we have Project E36 Turbo, which is ready to go. We are waiting to get our time slot in tuning, but Eric did a really good job on this one and it is dialed in. It's ready to go. As you guys can see, it's running on its own power. It's driving, so stay tuned for that dyno video. It's going to be a sweet one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I see the statistics and I see that a lot of you guys aren't following, so we would love to keep you guys here and would love to keep showing you guys a lot of the projects that are on the way. There's some fun ones coming for the summer, so stay tuned and we'll talk to you later.